Hey, welcome back. I'm doing a part 2 to Clairvoyant, episode 2, part 2. Just give me a little bit of time and I will get it here. So, let me just find Tails, our app for this, which kind of is hard to find for me actually. Here we go. I opened up Tails app. This is where you basically, it's like a walkthrough kind of thing. I do not know why I'm in vampire fiction at this time. Let me exit that. Where were we? I'm asking you guys. We are at the streets of London. Soon enough, you're ejected from the constabulary and find yourself frustrated walking through the streets. You spend the rest of the day in a haze of anger and frustration. How dare Inspector Hogg say those things to you? And how dare he wave off your Ripper visions as the rantings of a sick woman? You went to the police in good faith because you want to save lives. You've been given an insight into the dark psyche of a murderer that is currently preying on innocent women, and they're just going to pass up the opportunity to explore that insight? Fools, all of them fools. That night, your living room. You're still unable to calm down after your interrogation by that oaf Hogg. His ignorance and rudeness simply won't leave your brain. But you know you need to rest if you're going to be able to stop the Ripper. Okay, there are 3 choices here. Perform a relaxation spell, pour yourself a large glass of brandy, or read a book. I'll go with the first one. I don't know why I would pour myself a glass of brandy. Okay. You get together what you need for a relaxation spell. A bowl, a white candle, some fresh grass, olive oil, rose petals, lavender, and your favorite quartz crystals. You mix the grass, lavender, and rose petals and olive oil in the bowl before placing the crystals around the candle. You light the candle and then hold the bowl over the flame for several minutes. You then begin to inhale the scent from the bowl through your nose before breathing out through your mouth. All the while you have your eyes closed and are focused on relaxing, calming thoughts. After a few minutes, when you feel suitably at peace and thoughts of Hogg, the Ripper and Mrs. Reynolds have drifted away, you turn to the candle and speak the words, "All remaining anger and stress will now go. From the inside to the outside, make it so." You take 11 more deep breaths and, on the 12th, blow out the candle. Then you crawl into bed and go to sleep. Fast and easy, as it sounds. The streets of Whitechapel. You open your eyes and find yourself in Whitechapel in the dead of night. The sky is an intimidating shade of red, and you can hear the low rumbling of thunder overhead. Fog billows through the streets, making it impossible to see more than a few feet in front of you. Okay. You are compelled for some reason to walk forward into the fog. After a few paces, you begin to see someone about 20 feet away walking toward you. You want to stop walking, You want to turn around and go back the way you came. Yet your fear could mean many things. Fear can provide a warning, a puzzle, or a challenge depending on the situation. Ooh, three choices. Fear is a warning, fear is a challenge, fear is a puzzle. Third. I chose the third. You try to speak with the person in the fog. Hello? Who are you? There's no answer from the figure, who simply keeps advancing toward you. Can you hear me? It's Viola Hardinge. Do I know you? Then the small figure reveals itself. It's Frederick. He's looking at you with bright blue eyes, fully alive. He reaches out his hands for you and you can't help yourself. You reach back. Maybe you can do what no one did for him in real life. Maybe you can help him. When you are no more than 10 feet away from the body, however, another figure looms out of the fog. Your heart starts racing. It could be Mrs. Reynolds, and she has come to murder the boy again. You try to speed up to get to Frederick quicker, but the approaching figure is revealed in a sudden gust of wind. You freeze where you stand, the blood in your veins turning to ice. It's not Mrs. Reynolds. It's Victor, your mentor. You'd recognize his velvet coat, shaved head, and forked goatee anywhere. But this can't be him. Victor wouldn't visit your dreams without permission. That's an assault among spiritualists. Not Victor is smiling at you as he stands behind Frederick. He reaches out a hand beckoning you toward them. My mistake. Your mind fights against his summons. Something about this whole situation feels terribly wrong. You look up at the sky again. The thunder is now booming, and lightning has begun to crackle through the blood-red clouds. Looking back down, you see that Victor is not Victor anymore. His smile has been replaced by something cold, something calculating, something evil. His thin lips are curled in a sneer, and his eyes have gone black. Black as Jill, the Ripper's. I chose the third option. Try to wake yourself up. Your fight or flight instinct kicks in, and you remember that you're in a dream. You don't have to stay here. You can wake up. The Ripper produces her blade and races it towards you. You look to the sky and yell, "Wake up! This is just a dream! Wake up!" You can't break through. The terrifying inevitability of the situation won't let you go. That was a bit of a struggle. You pinch your arm several times. Damn it, wake up! Why can't I wake up? The Ripper slashes the blade and it cuts into your flesh. And you jolt awake in bed covered in sweat. This time it wasn't a vision you quickly recognize. It was a dream. But still, dreams have their own meanings. If you can decode it, maybe it will lead you to a subconscious breakthrough in your hunt for the Ripper. Or maybe it won't. You curse loudly at your lack of knowledge. So many aspects of your work are frustratingly vague. Before you can dive into recording what you just saw, though, you find yourself drifting back into a dark and dreamless sleep. We got our first nightmare. Okay. The next morning, the London docks. After breakfast, you decided to go for a walk through the docks to clear your head. Out in the brisk morning air, you begin to feel more at peace with the world. Despite the pungent smells around you, you find your stomach grumbling. You're hoping to pick up some nice fish for dinner. You continue down the wharf, sidestepping the men unloading crates of fish off the boats. As you pass the nearest boat, you hear a commotion. The men seem to be squabbling amongst themselves. 2 options here. See what the commotion is about, ignore the commotion. A. See what the commotion is about. You have gained empathy. You have a feeling something bad has happened, so you move closer to see what all the arguing is about. As you close in, you realize they're not squabbling, they're scared. You tap the worker closest to you on the shoulder and he turns eyes wide and face flustered. What's going on, you ask. He looks dumbfounded and fumbles over his words. I have never seen anything like it. You can see he's been given the fright of his life. You move past the man and come up behind 2 others who are huddled together looking at something on the ground. Ooh. You peer over their shoulders and see it. It is a rectangular package bundled in sodden brown paper which has been melted away by exposure to the watery docks. You know immediately why these men are afraid. The package contains the bloody, disembodied torso of a woman. I should have added a disclaimer. There might be some gross parts I'm going to be reading in this, so be aware of that. I'll put a disclaimer next time. If there are any books that I'm reading that have gross parts, just be aware. You stumble backwards in shock as you realize there are 2 serial killers operating in London at the same time. And you need to stop both of them. What will you do now that there are 2 killers plying their dark trade in London? Play episode 3 to find out. And that ends for our part 2 because it would have been long if I did, a whole episode. And that made me get out quickly. Tails, someone needs to fix this app. Or I need to fix some storage in here. Anyways, goodbye. I'll see you with episode 3.